Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
He needs care and treatment.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Is this a great country or what?
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from downtown Baton Rouge. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. We'll talk some Saints with Sharief Ishaq coming up in 30 minutes, and I've got some thoughts on Arkansas Athletic Director Hunter Yurichek's comments at the Little Rock Touchdown Club yesterday that I think resonate to the entire SEC in very, very different ways. I want to mention LSU's portion of that coming up in 15 minutes, but always look forward to this chat every week. 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, Colin Jeter, former LSU tight end, and now with the LSU Alumni Association, jumps in studio. How are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Tigers are 3-0. Can't complain.
Tigers are 3-0. Great event on Friday back there. We had Kevin Falk in attendance. Charles Alexander was there. Jared Mitchell's. Great to see everybody. And I love Fridays in this town. One, the anticipation's awesome. 2, LSU's undefeated on Fridays. We never have heartbreak on Fridays. You just get to look forward to the big game. I think the event went great.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. My favorite piece, I got to say, from the whole thing, when Charles Alexander got up and told the story about why he wore number 4.
Yeah.
Walked in thinking he could get 20, not realizing it was retired for Billy Cannon. That's just one of those pieces that you don't get, out there in the world. It's fun to come by and hear those luncheons and hear what those guys have to say.
Yeah, that was a great story. Jared Mitchell made me laugh because I asked him about his memory of the 2007 Florida game, which he was on the team. And he said his main memory was it was his birthday and traffic was so bad he couldn't get his car out to go party after the game was over. And I was looking for 5 4th downs. I was looking for Tebow, the whole thing. And he gave me that, which, I guess that's why you ask. You never know what you're going to get. But the Tigers came out victorious in the game. And I think obviously the defense is the lead because of how good they're playing. What do you see when you watch these guys run around?
Yeah, of course, the defense is, it was 3 weeks in a row being lights out. Offensively, got to be more efficient. It is what it is. We're 3-0. It's hard to complain. I understood Kelly's post game where he talks about, why are we upset about winning a game? And you always have to be thankful for winning SEC games. But we do need to be more efficient on offense. Running the ball, we're still struggling. Even we got a couple opportunities for 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, couldn't convert. You got to get those pushed through. So we have to be better. But luckily, we have Southeast as an opponent this week. It's kind of our last opportunity to get tuned up before we go to Ole Miss. We just got to make it happen.
The running game, it's a 3-year issue. I mean, Jaden masked it 3 years ago, but it's been running the ball with the running back has been a 3-year issue. This is a new group that I think has the ability to get better. This is something that I've brought up a couple times. Hoping that group last year was going to just get a lot better in run blocking like the last 6 games was never going to happen. Those guys have been starting for 3 years. These guys are pretty brand new. Is there a chance they can improve over the course of this year?
I think so. I watched some of the film, and it's little things. We talked about it last week shortly, but you got double teams that guys are slipping through where linebackers are running free straight to the ball carrier. That happened early on the first 3rd and 1 we had. That stuff, it can be cleaned up. I mean, it's not like we don't have the best offensive linemen in the country out there.
Yeah.
You just have to perform. We got to get cleaned up in film. It's something that can be improved. It's not a lack of talent. It's just lack of execution.
That's the thing. It's not like you're sending a bunch of guys out there that are 6'3", 265 and asking them to block. Like you've got Weston Davis is 6'6", 315 with no body fat and played high school basketball. Like he's a 5-star recruit. You just got to play a little better. And the hope is, do you see enough creativity in the run game?
I do. Honestly, I just see guys flying through. It's not. To me, I played at a time when all we did was run toss power on 3rd and 8, and we still found a way to convert every now and then. To me, it's not a lack of creativity. I think it's just lack of execution. It's one of those things. You got to be able to run your simple plays, zone, power, duo, all that. If you can't do that on a regular basis, then really getting creative is just it's never going to happen. We already are creative in ways. We throw screens out wide as an extension of the run game. We're doing what we can. But you have to be able to, you cannot be one-dimensional. You have to find a way to get that run game going, and that's just what it's going to take.
And look, I think they're creative as well. Like I asked that question just to get your perspective on it, but I think they're trying some things that look a little bit different. They're just not executing it all that well until finally they needed to get one first down and they ran for 51 yards at the end to make the stats look better.
Yeah, we're getting the old power eye. Funny how that works.
with a defensive end.
Yeah,
playing fullback.
the ghost of Les Miles coming through.
Defensively, the turnovers were phenomenal to watch. I don't know if it's sustainable to get five picks every game, but they're difficult to move the ball on. I know Florida hasn't been great on offense for 3 weeks now, but what's your favorite part about this defense to this point?
It's just good to have DBU back, and that takes all levels. You have to be good up front. You got to get a rush on the quarterback, which we did. But to be able to have those guys on the back end that are locked down, I mean, there was multiple opportunities. Lagway tried to he was doing everything he could. He was doing routine passes. He was throwing across the field, whatever he could to make it work, and we had guys there no matter what. So 5 interceptions, I mean, what else can you say?
I talked at the top of my show about LSU's defensive rotations. They have one defensive lineman playing more than 60% of the snaps. The second most, a defensive tackle, is Dominic McKinley, who's playing less than 50% of the snaps. They're just rotating guys in. They got 8 defensive linemen. They're playing a lot of snaps, and nobody's getting overworked. As a guy who played on those offensive lines, you mentioned that, I call it tight end offensive line in Les's system. But did you notice when teams got tired, and then what kind of benefit is that to have that type of rotation on the defensive front?
It's huge. I mean, you got to think those guys on every play, they're pursuing the ball. So they can shoot 30, sometimes 20, 30 yards a play. So they get a little gas when it's going nonstop. I got to say, it's a little unfair for us offensive guys because we just seem to stay out there for it. But it does. It makes a difference, especially on the offensive side. You get a certain defensive line group on first and second down. You've kind of got them more down. And then on third down, here comes a whole new fresh 4. So they're fresh, ready to go, ready to rush the passer. And makes a huge difference having some depth. And I think that's paid off for us.
Colin Jeter's our guest. He's with the LSU Alumni Association, former Tiger tight end. He's here every single Tuesday at 2 o'clock. Bauer Sharp over the middle showed some wheels getting down there. What'd you see on that?
I loved it. How about that? We hit a seam down the middle, getting the tight end involved. He's a great player. He's a guy who can do both. He can block, he can catch, he can run, obviously. I hated that we didn't really convert that big play into anything. But no, he's a guy that's, to me, more of the true. Trudez is the freak athlete, but Bauer's that true wide tight end. I think he's going to have success at our level, and then hopefully moving on to the next level. But like you said, he can run, he can catch, I think he can throw. I'm curious to see if we ever do that. I think he was an old quarterback back
at Southeastern.
Yeah,
who we play this weekend.
Yeah,
so it's I mean, and it was great to see him open it up and run with that speed. And it speaks to the fact that LSU's just got so many weapons on offense. Now, Brian Kelly said yesterday, kind of unprompted, Jacques Doucet asked, hey, something mechanically with Garrett? And he said, well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I'll talk about it. He's got a torso injury. He's on the back end of it. We can't really shut him down until the bye week. And I talked about it on the show. I wrote about it at LouisianaSports.net. I said, look, you can shut him down. You don't need him to play him against Southeastern. But I also, and I want your perspective on this, I understand early hours, film study, practice, weightlifting, summer 110s, everything that goes into being a college football player, and you only get 12 nights to play. And taking that away from somebody is a kind of a precaution. It's kind of a tough thing to do. What's your thought on maybe sitting Garrett for a game? Is that taking one of those 12 opportunities away, or do you need to have that kind of foresight? And again, I'm saying this, I'm not a doctor, and I don't know how badly his torso hurts. So I don't know what a week off will do, but I'm just going off Brian Kelly saying, well, we were going to shut him down during the bye week. Well, this is like a bye week because Southeastern could play LSU for a month and a half and they wouldn't score 20 points.
Well, it's a double-edged sword there because you've got, and again, we don't know how hurt he really is, right, but you've got the side of, look, offense has really struggled for 3 games. This is going to be your last opportunity to tune up that offense before we play Ole Miss, so we know it can hang up points.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a game we're going to have to score more than 13 offensively. So there's that side of it, and then there's the side, like you said, Southeastern is a game we should blow these guys out, regardless of who we got. I mean, we could put John Trey Kirkland back there and hopefully still get it done,
and they would.
So it's both sides. I don't know it. You want to have 18 out there. You want to have them lead the squad, and like I said, continue to improve. But if Garrett's got an injury, that's going to affect him for the rest of the season. You kind of got to keep that in mind too. Do we keep him out, rest him, give him 2 weeks to really prepare for the Ole Miss game, which we know is going to be a big opponent, especially on the road. It's both sides. It really comes down to how hurt he is.
Yeah.
And then just being able to perform. If we feel like we can perform this week without him, then let's do it. But like you said, you only get 12 chances your senior year.
Look, Ole Miss is a team. They don't have the talent on defense that they had last year, the high-end NFL guys, but they do have SEC talent. They've got some real guys, and they got a good defensive coordinator. Southeastern basically plays a different sport than LSU. They're way undersized. They're not going to have guys drafted in the NFL. This team, Tech, blew out and they couldn't even score a point. So can you gain something in terms of rhythm on offense from going against somebody that's so overmatched?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think it's one of those things that, and maybe not just about rhythm, but it might be a little bit about confidence. I mean, why not go out there and hang 50 on them if we can? You know, get out there, get the offensive line moving, getting those combo blocks working, getting the run game going. If you can get that done and get a little confidence on as far as the run game side of the ball, maybe get the pass game rhythm going as well, then yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to go out there and finally get out of this groove of, okay, you know, every week we're talking about we're winning games, but we're just not clicking offensively. It'd be great to go out there and hang points before we go to Ole Miss.
I tend to agree with that. We'll see what they do coming up on Saturday. I'm sure you'll be out there on campus.
I will be there.
And you'll be here next Tuesday?
I will be here.
We like to hear that. He's Colin Jeter with the LSU Alumni Association. Tell us what's going on over there and where guys can get involved with everything that's going on.
Well, shoot, two things. Obviously, we touched on Football Friday last week. Great event. We had about 200 people there.
It was awesome.
Again, Charles, hearing his stories, Jared getting up there talking about traffic. You just never know what you're going to hear. But we got a breakdown as far as recruiting. We got Gordy up there talking about the opponents. Just a great around event. Food's great, drinks are great. We're looking forward to continue doing that. We've got a few more opportunities for that this year. But as far as this week, it's family weekend at LSU. It's going to be a big weekend for everyone to come in. See your students, see the gang, and we'd love for people to come by, stop by the shop, see how they can get involved with us. We've got the gift shop at the Log Cook, got some new items in there. Now we are sold out of gold because I tried to get some gold myself last weekend, and I was told they had two smalls, which unless they stitched those two together, It was not going to work. But the gift shop, we got a bunch of great items in there. But yeah, come by, see how we can get involved, see how LSU Alumni Association can help you, and we'd be happy to be there.
Colin Jeter, the LSU Alumni Association, former Tiger tight end. He's with us on Tuesdays. We'll come back, talk about what Hunter Yurachek has to say, and I've got some pointed thoughts about what it means for LSU as well. We'll do it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Don't know what I did with my live sheet, which I think is behind this computer. There it is. It's Daryl May of Trusty Properties. It's hard to know what you're going to do when I don't have the sheet. Daryl May, Trusty Properties, licensed realtor, Louisiana and Mississippi. If you have always thought about having your own hunting property, Daryl May and Trusty Properties can help you out. If you've always thought about having that secondary home out in the country that you can spend some time at on weekends, Daryl May at Trusty Property can help you out with that. If you've always thought, man, now that I've got kids out of the house, I don't have to get them to school every morning, I'd really like to get out of the big city and go live out where I've got some land, Daryl May of Trusty Properties can help you out with that, whether it's in Point Capee, whether it's in the Felicianas, whether it's up in Woodville, Mississippi, up to Natchez. He can help you with that. And also, as I mentioned a couple times today, happy to help you in Pass Christian, Mississippi, or Bay St. Louis. If you're looking for 30 acres, 300 acres, Daryl May of Trusty Properties can help you out with all of that. Reach out to him. Find him online. It's Daryl May of Trusty Properties, a name you can trust.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trusty Properties.
The Little Rock Touchdown Club strikes again yesterday. I mean, truly, the greatest booking agency I've ever seen. They get everybody to go to Little Rock and eat probably rubber chicken breast and some bad vegetables and some flavorless tea and talk about football. And they tend to make like national news like 3 or 4 times a year at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. And I don't know if this is national news per se, but it's something that I found interesting. And they have like folks from all over the football world come, but in this case, Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD, was actually the one who was speaking. And we don't cover Arkansas, so I'm not going to play a bunch of clips from Hunter Yurachek, but I will paraphrase what he had to say. He said basically, and it was asked by an Arkansas fan at the Touchdown Club, like, when are we going to win at football? And his answer in so many words was, well, at Arkansas, we feel like we're very, very strongly positioned to win a national championship in basketball. We feel it's obvious that we're very strongly positioned to win a national championship in baseball. To win in football, you have to do things very differently. And he used this traffic analogy where if you're going 65 miles an hour and you look over in the other lane and everybody else is doing 85, like it's really hard to win. And he talked about like basically doing things differently financially, maybe skirting the rules to win at football, and that he doesn't know if Arkansas morally is going to do that. That's kind of what he said. We're going to win in basketball. We're going to win in baseball. Football, we'd really have to change things, and I'm not sure if we're going to do that or not, is what he said. And I don't really care about what Arkansas's strategy is to win. I would agree with Hunter Yurchak that they have a basketball program that was, I believe, in the Elite Eight last year, and has John Calipari and is pulling in 5-star recruits, and theoretically, they can contend in that sport. I would agree with that. And obviously, in baseball, they're a national power. You can make fun of them. I often do because they don't have any trophies, but they're really good. Okay. And so that's all true. And he mentioned like that they're good at other sports like track and stuff, whatever. That's Arkansas. But what it had me thinking about from an athletic director and athletic department perspective is how much athletic departments are going to have to prioritize their spend in this revenue sharing era. And in some cases, kind of pick what we're going to be good at and pick what we may not be very good at. And we're going to commit resources to those which are finite to make sure that we're in the best position to win in this sport and this sport, even if it may come at the expense of that sport. And that is relevant to every big-time athletic program, certainly LSU's. And you look at football, that's always going to drive the bus. How much are you going to fund football? Like, my understanding from listening to podcasts and kind of paying attention to a lot of schools around is that, like, Mississippi State is not going to go to the full extent on the football side that a lot of teams are, and they're going to sprinkle some of that back to baseball. They feel it's their best chance to form a nationally powerful program. You can't neglect football. You can't take all the money from football, but $4 million is a big deal if you skim that off the top of football and dish it over to Dudy Noble. $3 million is a big deal for baseball if you do that. And so I look at programs around the country, around the conference, I should say, and like Bama is obviously going to be all in on football. And they're right now all in on basketball. They're spending a ton of money on it. The other two big sports are women's basketball and baseball. Bama stinks at both, and I don't think they're investing in them. They are putting all their resources into football and men's basketball. You look at Auburn. They're not any good at women's basketball. They're not really any good at baseball. I think Butch Thompson's a good coach in baseball. They just spend a bunch of money on their stadium. Are they dumping money into NIL? No, you don't ever see one of these high-profile transfers go to Auburn. They get off LSU's scrap heap Sam Dutton to go pitch on Fridays. They get off Florida's scrap heap Cade Fisher to pitch on Saturdays. But those guys were cast-offs from their other SEC places. Look at Tennessee. Like, they're all in on football. They're all in on men's basketball. They're certainly all in on baseball. What about women's basketball? Well, I kind of looked at that, and I can't speak to their NIL investment, but I'll tell you this. Kim Caldwell, their head coach, makes $1 million. LSU's women's basketball coach makes $3.4. Like, LSU is committed to women's basketball. And we know they're committed to football. And they're committed to baseball. What does that mean for men's basketball? Well, they've upped that commitment this year. Who's that taking money away from? Is that taking some money away from women's basketball? Does that take some money away from baseball? It's certainly not taking any money away from football. You look at Georgia. Like, they're all in at football. Their men's basketball team, their women's basketball team stink. There's no investment there. You look at Florida. I would suggest they're all in on men's basketball. Baseball, they built a new stadium, but they're not in like LSU and Arkansas and Tennessee is for the highest end baseball transfers. Kevin O'Sullivan's been looking for a way out of there for a few years. And I'm not sure they've got all the resources necessary committed to football. And they're not any good at it right now. It's very difficult to balance all four of these and keep them all nationally relevant. And I'm just curious, listening to a sitting athletic director talk, whether or not you have to make decisions about that. And it creates this very interesting inter-athletic department tussle and tug-of-war over funds. Because revenue sharing is literally a finite amount of money. If you've got a rogue booster that wants to start cutting checks like the old days, and like I'm sure is still going on right now, like, well, that just is what it is. But as far as the money that you're actually going to put in, is Arkansas in a spot where they're going to look at John Calipari, who's getting future NBA guys and lottery picks, and say, hey, Sam Pittman or whoever's next here, like, yeah, I know LSU's in for $18 million on football, and I know that Tennessee's in for $18 million in football, and I know that Georgia's in for $18 million in football, but we're going to give you 11. And then there's going to be 7 left over, and we're going to give 6 of that to Calipari and 1 to Van Horn. I mean, that sounds like what he's saying when he says we're not really set up for football, we're set up for the other 2. And then you immediately come to the table with, like, what is Scott Woodward doing? Like, what do you need football to do? What kind of investment are you willing to make in men's basketball? It's a question. I don't know the answer. It's a question. You've got a women's basketball program that is front and center in the sport. It's UConn, it's South Carolina, and then next is probably LSU. And that's Kim Mulkey's program's awesome. But she gets paid for awesome. $3.5 million. And she's going to command some money for transfers. Well, is that taking money out of somebody's pot? Is it taken away from men's basketball? Is it taken away from baseball? It's worth a discussion. There's no right answer. But I don't know that this question necessarily arose as quickly 15 years ago. Yeah, we need new locker rooms. Yeah, we need to keep this coordinator. Like, there's always been allocation of funds. But when you start talking about a revenue sharing model that literally tells you to the cent how much you're able to spend, well, then you've got to divvy that up publicly. And you look at some programs that I think schools are neglecting. You look at some programs that don't invest at all in baseball, that don't invest at all in women's basketball. In Mississippi State's case, that may pull back an investment from football if they feel like might be a losing battle. Those are decisions that have to be made. And nobody wants an athletic department where some schools fail or some programs fail. But if you neglect a program, like, somebody else is benefiting from that money. I have never in my time paying attention to LSU athletics thought about, well, does one program need another program to be worse and invested in less so that it can get the funds it needs to then thrive? And everybody has a different sense of what is most important to them. I'm confident that you could, on campus on Saturday, when let's say there are 120,000 LSU fans on campus on Saturday, if I took 50 of them, random, pulled them aside, lined them up, and I asked them, here's a pie of the $21.2 million that you've got to spend in revenue sharing for these players. Divvy it up. They would be different. I guarantee you in those 50, there would be somebody that says, I don't give a rip about men's basketball. Take all that away and give it all to Jay Johnson. I guarantee you in that 50, there would be some that would say, I don't care about women's basketball. Take that away. Get better at men's basketball. I guarantee you there would be some that say women's basketball is awesome. We just won a national championship. Skim off that men's basketball thing. We just went, what, like 2-16? Give it to Kim Mulkey. She wins championships. There are some people that don't care about baseball. Like, everyone has a different thought process. And certainly those coaches that are there with their programs are looking out for themselves. It's their job. They want to go to battle for themselves. And you think about all the coaches on campus singing Kumbaya and representing the brand and getting along and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that's the case. But deep down, when you look at the numbers in the budget and you realize that coach is getting that, but you're only getting that, and you think you should get that because you need to do that, it starts to get a little bit dicey. I'm projecting here a little bit on what Hunter Yurachek had to say, but I think it's rooted in truth. And it sounds to me like he's determined, we're Arkansas, we're not going to be Georgia in football, we're not going to be Texas in football, but we can beat them all in basketball and baseball. And that's what we're going to do. It's interesting. It's interesting. And it's a brand new world when it comes to that revenue sharing, and players want money. There was a time where NIL was part of the discussion. And it's still part of the discussion, but it's a bigger part of the discussion now that players are aware how much the college athletes can make. When we just started this thing, it was the Wild Wild West, and nobody really knew what it was about. Now you know that there are college athletes that are making a lot of money. And if you don't have it to give, you're falling behind. And it makes it even worse if you don't have it to give because it's available, but another coach on campus got it. Who's going to take that Arkansas football job when Sam Kittman steps aside or gets fired? Well, how's this revenue sharing going to work? Calipari gets what? The baseball team gets what? Oh, well, do I want this job? It's not set up, as Hunter Yurachek said. Fascinating stuff. We'll talk about some of that as we move forward in the week. Let's talk Saints with Sharief Ishaq next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is that website. Every car that's on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. Tell you about America's best warranty every single day. It's just part of one of the great benefits of being a Genesis owner. Talking about bumper-to-bumper warranty for 60,000 miles, 3 years. That's industry leading. Talking about 24/7 roadside assistance, no matter what the miles are on that vehicle. You're talking about 3 years of complimentary valet maintenance. All great, great perks. It's just some of the perks that come with being a Genesis driver. Get on by and see. Most of you have not driven a Genesis. I'm just asking that you put them on your list and make that a part of that little shopping spree you go on when you get ready to purchase that vehicle. Maybe that's not this week, this month, this year. Maybe it's a year, 18 months down the road when your current lease is up. Just go see them at Genesis of Baton Rouge. You'll feel like a guest, not a customer. You'll feel like you're being taken care of, not taken advantage of or oversold. And you'll see the great perks that they have of being a Genesis driver. Every single model in the line is an IHA top safety pick. All of them. Some of the safest cars on the road, some of the best benefits to being a driver, greatest staff, wonderful facility. It's all there at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find them online, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trustee Properties.
New Orleans Saints 0-2, a two-game homestand to open the season. Now they'll hit the road for a couple opposite corners of the country. They go to Pacific Northwest this weekend and take on the Seahawks, and they'll have the Bills following weekend up in Orchard Park. Sharief Ishaq covers the black and gold for WDSU down in New Orleans. Gives us time on Tuesdays. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon. It's Groundhog Day.
Let's talk about the Saints. I liked Spencer Rattler on Sunday. I thought he played pretty well. What was your take?
100% agree with you. I thought that he got much better than from the first game, and he actually improved as the game went along against that's a very good San Francisco 49ers defense. I mean, very, very good defense. They had all their pieces out there, and I thought he got much better. But here's the problem, Hunt, with this offense. And like I said, Groundhog Day. You cannot keep starting slow every single game. You cannot start slow. But before we get to that, I want to give him his flowers. He did do well, man. He really did do well. got the ball out quickly, had 3 sacks. Some of them kind of not, maybe 2 of them not on him, but he got the ball out quickly. He spread it out to receivers, had some drops that weren't his fault, had one bad pass in that first drive. That was his fault to Olave in the end zone. But no, man, I think that to me, though, that might be his ceiling. That game right there could be his ceiling. But it was still a really good game for Spencer.
They got Alvin Kamara going in the run game. Was that encouraging?
Yeah, after having 13 touches the week before, I think he had 25 touches, 25, 26. Got to the 100-yard rushing mark with 20 carries. Yeah, man, that's what they need to do. I mean, they paid him. If you're going to pay him that much money, you might as well use him. So, yeah. He was effective, and it wasn't just a bad 100-yard game. And he got a lot of those yards in good spots for the team. So if they can be balanced, Hunt, I mean, they're going to stay competitive. I mean, it's just just some of these missed opportunities on offense and defense as well. If they can just figure it out in the beginning of the games, they'll be winning a few more games this season, because that's what's holding them back so far.
As far as the offense goes, I want to switch over to defense here shortly, but what is the biggest concern for you?
My biggest, it's the slow starts, Hunt, and it's the missed opportunities. You have beginning of the game, you have the nice deep pass to Shaheed, who makes a one-handed catch, and then the miscommunication between Spencer Rattler and Chris Olave. That's 100% on Rattler. He took the blame, threw it behind him. But this is what you get when you don't have your starting quarterback named during the preseason. You're having the battle going on, so you don't really have the communication and that connection going on. So that they're still trying to find some type of rhythm, some type of and becoming more in sync, as you would say. So that's why I think you're still seeing some things a little off between the receivers and Spencer Rattler. Then the Kamara fumble. I mean, at the end of the third quarter, that eventually turned into a long touchdown pass for the 49ers. But to me, it all starts with getting off to a faster start. These slow starts are absolutely killing the offense big time. Missed field goal, punt. I mean, you just can't have that whenever you have opportunities against good teams, especially good defenses.
Is Blake Grupe playing with fire right now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, this team I think he's reliable. I think he just, sometimes like a golfer, you have gifts, and I understand that teams like to cut kickers. They don't let them go through it. I think he's fine to me. I think it's fine. He's been their most consistent player these last couple of seasons. So I think he's good. He's good for now. And Kellen Moore says he's fine. They have faith in him, and they're going to rally behind him. So no, I don't think he's in any trouble.
I haven't loved what I've seen from the young defensive backs. I'm giving them plenty of time to continue to get better, but I just don't think they played great in the first 2 games. What do you think of Alontae Taylor, of Kool-Aid McKinstry, of Jonas Sanker now that he's getting a chance? What have you made of those guys early on?
Yeah, it's been a C- to me. It hasn't been great. It could be D to me. I mean, it just and all the problems are coming on third down for them. And once again, they were torched on third down. They started the game 8 of 12 on third down, and all 3 of Mac Jones' touchdowns came on third down. I think third and long for the second straight game has been an issue, and I think they just can't cover. And I understand receivers and tight ends are much faster today, but that secondary is having issues. Just covering. There's some busts back there. The zone was getting beat a few times. One-on-one, Isaac Adam got beat a few times. They were going after him, Ricky Pearsall, and Jennings at times. That's because Kyle Shanahan had him on the team last year, so he knows him. He knows Brandon Staley. He knows what he's going to run. But they found the weak spot, and they went after it quite a few times. But it's a process. It's going to be a process with this secondary. I thought Kool-Aid was okay. I think Alontae, he struggled. I mean, the PFF grades gave him a high grade, but he struggled tackling. He struggled at times in coverage. And there's another thing that I'm a little worried about, Hunt. A lot of slipping on that field. There's a lot of slipping by the Saints, slipping and stumbling. I don't really see it from the other team. I'm seeing it more from the Saints, and I kind of bit them a few times in this game. They've got to figure out their footing situation, and I saw it quite a few times on third down. But, yeah, secondary, the entire defense does a great job on first and second down. They get to third and long. They have an issue, and they've got to figure it out.
Brazee And then, of course, Granderson, statistically very good. What have you seen from the front?
I give them credit, man. Look, the one thing that they're a little bit more frustrated about is not, getting those strip sacks, not creating fumbles. But yeah, man, I mean, Carl and Brian have certainly stepped up in a massive way in the run defense. I thought they did a really good job with McCaffrey in the run game. They didn't really give up many yards in the running game. So I thought those two guys were a big part of it. And they got their 3 sacks. I was a little shocked, Hunt, that they could not get a little bit more pressure on Mac Jones, but that was all the Kyle Shanahan's game plan, to get the ball out quickly. They knew that he, the quarterback that kind of sits in the pocket. So Shanahan drew up a great game plan, and they weren't allowed to get many sacks on him. So you got to give credit to Shanahan and what they did. But, the front itself, I think, has done an exceptional job up to this point. But to me, you've got to force more than a turnover against a guy like Mac Jones.
Yeah. Give him much of a chance in Seattle or no?
No. Last week I said to beat the 49ers if they had Brock Purdy. I'm the idiot here. And they lost to them with Mac Jones. They're not winning in Seattle. Good luck in Buffalo. That spread's probably going to get absolutely shattered. I think it's probably like 13.5 in Buffalo. So 8.5 this weekend. I just don't see it.
So how do you think the vibes will be if they're 0-4?
I'm still okay with the 0-4. If it's competitive 0-4, I mean, Hunt, what are fans expecting? They wanted to rebuild. They wanted things to be like.
I'm more so talking about the team, though. Like, how do you think the team will handle it?
They're professionals, man. I think deep down inside they know what's going on this year. They even know it's like, hey, this is a process. They'll be fine with it. I mean, as long as they're competing competitive, I think like if it would have been 0-4 last year under Dennis Allen, it would have blew up. I mean, it blew up when he got fired.
Yeah.
You saw how that unraveled quickly. But if they start 0-4 under Kellen Moore, it's fine. I think because they got like good leaders, they got a good coaching staff. Everything that's in place is fine for them. I think that they like everything inside of that building. So they're not going to fall. They're not going to fall off and quit on coach. They're not going to quit on each other. I just think they have the right people in place to have to be able to sustain an 0-4 start, because Hunt, it's like it's coming. An 0-4 start is going to come unless a miracle happens in one of these two games.
We shall see. Sharief Ishaq, the crew at WDSU, will be all over it. He's with us on Tuesdays. Thank you, sir.
Anytime, Hunt.
He is Sharief Ishaq. Joins us Tuesdays at the bottom of the second hour. We'll come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Wrong button.
It happens. Swing Easy Golf Club, swingeasygcbr.com. Great place to work on your game. I know sometimes it's tough to find a driving range. It's really hot this time of year. And by the time it cools off, it gets dark really early. And so if you're looking for a place to hit a lot of golf shots in a controlled environment and get more information than you would from just beating balls on a driving range, Swing Easy Golf Club is a great place to do that. They've got all those numbers in their technology there. They can give you your carry distance. You can see how the ball travels, whether you're cutting it, slicing it, hooking it, drawing it. You can see your ball speed. You can see where your club impacts the ball with a slow motion view. You want to hang out for a couple hours and hit some golf balls? You can do that in the air conditioner on one of their state-of-the-art golf simulators. It's a great spot to go and work on your game. They've got 3 bays. If you're a member, you can book out up to 7 hours a month free of charge. It's a great, great spot to work on your game here in Baton Rouge. It's on Seagan, near Perkins. Go by and see them. Just go check out what it's about. Say, hey, I heard about your show. Heard about you on Hunt Show. Just like to stop in and check it out. They'd love to have you there. It's Swing Easy Golf Club. You can see them online. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Daryl May of Trustee Properties. Looking for land to hunt or build? Call Daryl May at Trustee Properties.
Today's show is brought to you by Daryl May of Trusty Properties. Looking for land outside the city, whether it's in Point Capee Parish, the Felicianas, up to Woodville, Mississippi, Natchez, anywhere in Louisiana or Mississippi. 30 acres, 300 acres, 500 acres, whatever you're looking for, and whatever reason you're looking for it, whether it's hunting land, whether it's agriculture land, secondary home outside the city, whatever the case may be. Daryl May from Trusty Properties is happy to help you out with that. Give him a phone call. Check him out online. Daryl May with Trusty Properties, a name you can trust. All right, Beck, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Whether you're on the grill, still at the pool, at the tailgate, on the golf course, on the water, doing some fishing, whatever the case may be, you're looking for that light beer, still packs that flavor. Light by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. 95 calories, 2.6 carbs. Pick it up wherever you purchase your beer on the way home next time. Flight by Yingling, next generation of light beer.
All right, first one here. Dabo Sweeney in his press conference today after losing to Georgia Tech on Saturday responded to the critics. I didn't hear what question was asked, but I'm assuming it wasn't anything along the lines of whether or not he was worried about his job. I don't think anyone in Clemson would ask that question currently. But Dabo decided to go on a little bit of a tirade there, saying, quote, I mean, if Clemson is tired of winning, they can send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. We've won the league 8 out of the last 10 years. We've gone to the playoffs 7 in the last 10 years. Dabo to Alabama. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave that. But he doesn't understand public relations at all. And he consistently wants to justify his program's performance by reciting facts to media members and fans, suggesting that will either A, vindicate him, or 2, make them go, oh, you're right, we did win the ACC 8 out of 10 years. Nobody wants to hear that. The only thing anybody in Clemson wants is to win. They're all very well aware of the 2 national championships. They're very well aware of all the playoff. Like, nothing you say at that microphone is going to help your image to an angry Clemson fan because you lost a game. And the fact that he feels the need to keep getting up there and trying to justify himself is insane. It's so easy to get up there and say, yeah, I understand that folks are not happy when we lose a game. It happens around here. We're just going to go back to work. We got to continue to recruit. We got to coach these guys better. And I think we're going to play great on Saturday. And just leave it alone. But this crybaby sophomore in high school thing where you got to state your case to a bunch of people that already know the case, it's a terrible look for him. He just doesn't care. He consistently says the wrong things. And it's a bad look. It is a bad look.
All right, last one here. We got some more news for the Masters. More coverage, Hunt. Amazon Prime Video joining in on the fun. They will be adding 2 more hours of coverage for the first and second rounds. That's 27 hours of total broadcast coverage for next year's Masters, 50% more than it was just 2 years ago in 2024. More Masters. Take it or leave it.
I will take it. I'll take it. That has the Masters app fired up at 8 o'clock in the morning when they're teeing off. So I'll watch it on Prime. I'll watch it wherever they'll show it. It used to be that you can only watch the back 9 on the weekend. You couldn't even see the front 9. That was a long time ago, but it was the case. And they've intentionally limited coverage over the years.
Watch yourself.
That would be the first
and
9.
second 9.
Second
Okay,
9,
be careful what you say because I guarantee you there are people listening and they may not invite you to Augusta now because you said that.
Don't know that I'm going to get the membership invite.
Well, not membership, but just maybe they consider Hunt as a great radio personality and they may want to have him out, but you never know.
I think we know.
Probably not.
I think we know that's not going to happen. But
probably not.
I did enter a thing to play at St. Andrews next summer, so we'll see how that goes.
Did you sign up for the lottery for the Masters?
No.
Yet again,
I've never signed up.
Yes, just a real missed opportunity for you, Hunt. Makes no sense to me.
I'd like to go, but I have been, which helps.
What do you mean? What do you mean you'd like to go, but you've never been? What is that?
No, I'd like to go. I have been.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why you don't. That's why you're not doing it.
Correct.
Lazy.
Could be lazy.
I'm pretty lazy too. No more take it or leave it.
All right. We'll take that. How did Arsenal
I was watching Arsenal, okay? They won 2-0. Great win.
What a disgraceful defensive effort by whatever ragtag bunch they played. They let them score 2 goals.
Okay, they were playing a team from the Spanish league who's quite good, and they were playing on their home turf.
What's their team name?
That team is Atletico Bilbao. It's a city in Spain. You've never heard of it.
Doesn't
It's okay.
sound good to me.
They're not
like
bad, okay? 2-0 win, the first game of Champions League. Great start.
I don't think that was a good team they played. I think that was like Southeast. I think that was like playing Southeastern for LSU.
Absolutely not. They're in the Champions League. You can't be in the Champions League and be that level. You can't. I'm sorry.
Atletico Bilbao has never played anybody.
It's Bilbao, not
Bilbo Baggins.
Balboa.
It might as well be Blippy for all I know in my house. That's essentially all I care about that. That's it for our show today. Talked about LSU's depth on defense, Saints' inability to cover, Hunter Yurachek divvying up money to different sports. You missed any of it, catch it on demand, Hunt Palmer Show, wherever you find your sound. Matt's going to drive you home next on AFR. We're back tomorrow, same time, same place for a Wednesday edition. Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.